All right, hey guys, OFD checking in here, and today I'm going to bring you a watch that's really been out there for a couple of years, but I just picked one of these up and to add to the collection just yesterday. A friend of mine met me in town here, and I want to thank you, Joseph. If you watched this video, thank you for getting this watch to me and giving me such a great deal on it. So today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at the Bulova Moon Watch, reference number on this being 96B251. So if you guys aren't familiar with the whole moon watch, space watch thing, obviously the Omega Seamaster has had the moniker of moon watch since the 1960s, the late 1960s. It's just because NASA put the watch through the tests. The watch was used for moonwalk, space missions, etc., etc. If you guys have ever watched like the movie Apollo 13, the watch shows up quite a bit in that movie. But for a number of years, it was basically the only known moon watch, i.e. a watch that actually was there for a moon walk itself. It was quite a surprise when Colonel David Scott, that was on the Apollo 15 mission in 1971, let everyone know that, hey, I wore a Bulova on my moonwalk. I actually had my Bulova watch on because the Heslite crystal on his Speedmaster, supposedly, as the story goes, had popped off the watch. So he used his Bulova at the time that he had brought on the mission. The Bulova back then was a hand wind model using a mechanical movement, obviously. And so this is, I think in 2016, Bulova announced the release of this redone model, which is running a high-frequency quartz movement in it. Now, one little point of fact, in 2015, the actual moonwatch that Colonel David Scott wore on the moonwalk itself, he'd put this watch away, stored it away in a safety deposit box. But in 2015, the watch went up for auction and sold for a really nice $1.63 million almost, which, I think is pretty impressive. Of course, it's not as high as, say, a Paul Newman Daytona, which, was almost $18 million recently, but definitely a very impressive a watch and something that any collector really would want to have in the collection, okay? So go ahead and get this watch up here and we'll get a focus on it. So like I said, guys, this is the Bulova Moonwatch. Now, my friend had bought the whole kit, which includes this kind of leather strap on it, which has this Kevlar kind of style texture to it, and also includes down here in the box, as you guys can see, the NATO strap, which does have the date of the mission information, as well as the information regarding the movement of this watch. So I'm not going to get my caliper out here to measure this watch, guys, but I will tell you right off, it's a big one. So minus the pushers in the crown on this watch, you're looking at 45 millimeters from side to side. You're looking at a 53 millimeters from end to end on those lugs. We got a 20 millimeter lug opening on this watch. And this watch comes in at just over 13 millimeters thick. But one thing I want to point out with that thickness, guys, is look at the crystal. This is a sapphire AR-coated crystal on here, but look at it. It probably sticks up a millimeter at least over the bezel there of that case. So that's going to have a lot to do with the thickness of this watch. Now, obviously, this is a chronograph movement watch, like I said, running a high-frequency tuning fork movement from Bulova. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the way that works, they are using a triple-pronged quartz crystal in this watch for the quartz pulse, which, because of that triple prong, allows for an ultra-high frequency, so you get just an extremely precise movement. These do use batteries quite a bit more than a standard movement, so you got to replace them. I think it's about every year and a half, but you do retain an accuracy of plus or minus like 5 seconds a year, which is really, really impressive. So as you guys can see on the crystal there, it appears to be attached to the crystal, but we have that tachymeter scale around the outside. It's at a completely different level than the dial, which I think is done great. Our subdials are also at a lower level, as you guys can see there. And let me get this to focus. And then also on the minute track around there, just outside, if you guys can catch that, it's at a separate level too. So you've got a lot of depth to the dial on this watch, done really, really nicely. Over here at the 3 o'clock position, I'll go ahead and get this started. We do have a 1/10 of a scale, keeps track of that there. Down here at the bottom at the 6 o'clock position, that's your running seconds. And then over here at the 9 o'clock position, that's keeping track of your minutes for that chronograph hand there, up to 60 minutes. Down here at the 4:30 position, we also have a date window, which is a great addition. I do wish that was done in a white background with the black because it just makes it so much easier to see. But I think as far as matching the dial goes, this is done really good. So this will run for that first 30 seconds, as you guys can see there, and stop. That's to conserve the battery life of it. So we'll go ahead and stop it and reset it. You guys can see it sweep back. Go on the pillow is a little hard. But very nicely done. I mean, just an absolute beautiful watch. Now, this watch does have blue super luminova. I'm not going to do a lume shot, guys, because it has lume, but it's not super, super bright. Lasts for about 15 minutes with a really nice blue glow to it. But it's not something you're gonna notice, 5 hours after you charge it up. I mean, it's that type of a watch. This isn't a diving watch with supersonic lume or anything like that, but done very, very well. Very cool watch. If you guys are into collecting watches that have some sort of a, background to them or something like that, I think this is definitely something you can check out. I'll leave a link down below because they still offer these at Amazon at some real good deals. So I'll leave a link to that down below so you guys can check that out. I want to go ahead and show you guys the back of the watch here because I think it's really neat. I'm always appreciative of great case backs, and I think this definitely is a good one. So you guys can see the tuning fork, which is the Accutron Bulova tuning fork logo, which has been around for years and years, decades and decades, guys. Stainless steel construction on this, guys. As you can see down there at the bottom around the case back, water resistant 50 meters. So, a little bit of water, wet, but don't swim with this. Don't shower with it. Underneath the tuning fork, we have the mission information for the actual Apollo 15 mission there, which is neat. That's on all of these space watches from Bulova. You actually get that information. So guys, you can find these watches still at a really good deal, and I think that down the road, as these things become more and more scarce, they're going to kind of gain in value. If you guys have the wherewithal to just kind of sit on these and actually wear it and enjoy it. I've been wearing this a little bit since yesterday. Granted, I'm having to do the 30 days on the wrist with the Invicta Pro Diver, which is going great, guys. I'm going to have a video of that up very soon. But I just wanted to talk to you guys for a few minutes today about the Bulova, the Moon watch. Now, one thing I wanted to note real quick is, over the years, you hear so much about moon watches and space watches and stuff like that. This over here is a Seiko Pogue variant, a 6139-6002. This model being a 1972 variant. Now, one of the differences between a moon watch and a space watch is the space watch, the Pogue is known as a space watch because it was actually used in the Skylab missions. I think it was in 1974. When Colonel Pogue actually used these, they were used for timing space mission stuff and stuff like that. And the other neat thing about the Seiko was it was the first automatic chronograph in space. As you guys know, obviously this was a hand wind back in the day, and the Speedmaster was a hand wind watch back at that time. They do make automatic versions now, but in the 1960s, they were hand winders. So it was very special in 1974 for a Seiko #1 and also the first automatic watch in space. So, all right, guys, this video has ultimately been about the Bulova Moon watch, which was actually, if you guys read the stories, a variation of this in a hand wind model was used back in 1971 for a spacewalk, a moonwalk, and I don't know, it's pretty special. Pretty special little watch. And you guys will get a super, super accurate watch, accurate chronograph when you guys move into these Bulovas with this precision, super high precision, high frequency movement. So, all right, guys, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up down there at the bottom. If you've not subscribed to the OFD channel, please do. Please do. Thanks, guys.